The 2018 volleyball season was a memorable one for the Grizzlies, as Montana posted its best season in a half-decade and made a return to the Big Sky tournament. After graduating no seniors a year ago, Montana continued its upward trajectory during year 2 under head coach Allison Lawrence, continuing to see a rise both on the court and off of it. The highlight of the preseason came over Labor Day weekend when the Griz brought some of the nation's top volleyball teams to Missoula.
Tournament was a dream come true on a lot of levels.
The tournament featured matches against top 30 programs, including 22nd ranked Utah of the Pac-12 and Iowa State of the Big 12.
I knew that was going to be kind of a really big moment for volleyball in this region to have that level of match. I don't think volleyball fans in this area had seen that level of match in a long time. So that was really special to put ourselves up against the best.
The tournament wrapped up with a match against regional rival Gonzaga, which turned out to be a thriller. Montana won the first 2 sets before the Zags responded by winning the next 2. The 5th set was tight throughout, and it looked like as if Gonzaga might complete the comeback when it took a 14-13 lead and was serving for the match. Junior Missy Huddleston recorded a big kill to keep the Grizzlies alive before going to the line and serving up an ace. 3 points later, Montana ended the match with back-to-back kills to earn the team's first win of the season.
That's dug by the Grizzlies and attacked. And they win 17-15 here in Montana.
The place just erupted. It was in the arena. Gonzaga is a regional rival. Just such a great time to be a part of Griz Nation. And it was just so exciting. It was one of the best wins I've ever been a part of.
Throughout conference play, Montana continued to challenge itself, facing NCAA tournament teams Arizona, New Mexico State, and South Dakota, in addition to Utah. The Grizzlies closed non-conference play with another 5-set thriller, scoring the final 5 points to defeat the Summit League champion in South Dakota, 15-13. A challenging non-conference schedule was purposefully designed to set the Grizzlies up for success in Big Sky play. Montana won just 5 conference matches in 2016 and 17 combined before jumping out to a hot start in 2018. First up was a Sacramento State team that has historically been among the top of the league. The Hornets played in the 2017 championship match and again finished in the top 4 this year. Montana had a set-point opportunity in the second frame, but couldn't put away Sacramento State, losing 28-26 to fall into an 0-2 hole. The Grizzlies again trailed the third set 23-22 before they won the final 3 points to stay alive. Montana won another tight set in the fourth game, breaking a 23-23 tie to extend the match to a deciding 5th frame. Riding high on momentum, the 5th set was all Montana as Cassie Laramie served the Grizzlies to a 5-0 lead in the shortened set. Michaela Hammer sealed the win with her career-high 24th kill of the night, sending the crowd into a frenzy.
Hammer wins the game for the Griz. Michaela Hammer sets a new career high in kills, wins the game winner. You couldn't write that any better.
I think that was a really big gut check and also just a big moment for us and our fans. We set the tone that you don't get to come in here anymore and just find a team that's in disarray. We're coming after everybody and we're capable of beating anybody.
2 nights later, Montana won again, this time sweeping Portland State, with Hammer recording a double-double with 16 kills on 500 hitting. She was named the Big Sky Conference Player of the Week, but even more memorable that weekend was the time the Grizzlies spent off the court. For the first time in more than a decade, Montana hosted an alumni weekend, welcoming back more than a dozen former players.
I knew that would be impactful for our players. I hadn't really dreamed how impactful it would be when the alumni first saw each other, some of them for the first time in 10 years, maybe more. We had players with tears in their eyes just seeing that group of women reunite. And I think it really affirmed for our team that the things that you take away from this experience are not the wins and losses and the X's and O's, it's the relationships with your teammates. And for them to see that happen in front of their eyes was very powerful.
The Brawl of the Wild against Montana State is always fun, regardless of each team's record, but 2018 had some added emphasis.
The second you walked into the arena, it just felt like a different match. The environment was GrizCat, and you felt it, that anything could happen, that this rivalry is so unique to our conference, so unique to our country, that it just felt special, but you had that level of anxiety that you don't have necessarily for every game. End of the fourth set, it felt like momentum was maybe shifting in their favor a little bit.
Timeout gets the point. 23-23, good effort by Laramie, but to no avail, and it is match point. And the Griz stay alive. It's Karina Leto back to serve. Match point. Watkins back taps it to Hammer. That's the right combination, and the Griz stay alive. Block at the net, and the Grizzlies capitalize. Set point in this fourth set for the Griz. Hammer gets it over to Rizzo. Leto will set it up for Wilson. Watkins keeping it alive. Good effort, Marshall. If the Bobcats can settle it back in, Rizzo setting it up on the outside, and a block at the net gives the Grizzlies the fourth set.
That was an absolute huge point, a great defensive effort by the Grizzlies to keep that ball alive, because that was a well-struck ball by Evie Wilson up top.
It was one of the biggest blocks of the season. I think I just jumped as high as I can jump these days, and our whole bench was kind of rushing the court, and we knew we were taking it to a fifth set at that point.
The teams would alternate points, seeing ties all the way up to 8-8. That's when the Griz took over, rattling off 3 consecutive points to force a Bobcat timeout. The visitors would never get closer than 2 points after that, as Montana finished off the monumental victory.
That rivalry is so emotional. When it happened, I think all the emotions building up over the last 2 years just kind of came out, and it was so fun to celebrate with all those people in the arena, and it was one of my favorite Griz memories of all time.
More than 1,300 fans witnessed the thrilling win, the largest volleyball crowd in 12 years. It was a theme that continued throughout the year, as Montana drew its largest average attendance since 1995. Over the next several weeks, Montana would earn victories over Southern Utah, Idaho State, and Eastern Washington twice, but most impressive was the team's ability to win on the road. After winning just 1 road match each of the past 2 seasons, the Grizzlies were victorious 4 times in 2018. Perhaps none, though, was bigger than on the final night of the regular season. Facing an Idaho State squad that had won 6 matches in a row and was playing for a top 4 seed in the conference tournament, Montana had one of its strongest matches of the season. They did it all that night, posting 11 blocks and 11 service aces while winning sets in a variety of fashions.
Towards the back half of conference, we were so wrapped up in getting that last win to put us into the tournament that we lost sight of a little bit of what made us us. And so heading into Idaho State, I remember just feeling really calm. I wanted our staff to be really calm, and I wanted our team to be really calm. And to really play as if it wasn't the tournament that was on the line. It was just play the way we want to play for each other, enjoy playing, and let's see what we can do. And I think that little bit of freedom and that little bit of relaxation and getting away from outcome and worrying about tournament and where we stood and are we going to be in and what's happening with Southern Utah, I think just allowed us to put our focus in the right place. And once we did, we put together one of the best matches of the season and really took charge of our season again.
Will serve for ISU.
Just make them earn it.
The running jump serve back right. Huddleston plays it up front, and the Griz win it on the kill by Perman.
And if you're Perman, that's got to feel good.
The girl from Pocatello gets the match-winning point.
We all just rushed over to them and were hugging and jumping up and down with them, and it was surreal. No one really could put it into words.
The Big Sky Tournament was a new experience for this group of Grizzlies. In fact, not a single player on the roster had played in a tournament match before, making the occasion even more triumphant.
The Big Sky banners were up. The Big Sky flags were up. There was a table full of administrators making sure we were on time. The clocks were on. It was official in a way that we had not seen before. We hadn't been in that environment before, and I felt like the second we were in that environment and it felt like a championship, our shoulders were a little higher and further back. We were walking taller. We we cared more about the details. We were more proud. And I think that pride has not left us. And I think that's what the championship environment teaches you.
Montana was competitive in all 3 sets versus the runner-up in Idaho, but lost in the quarterfinals of the tournament. The result was an afterthought, however, as more important was the fact that Montana had returned. The Grizzlies posted their highest win total since 2013. They had a first-team all-conference selection for the first time since 2014, and best of all, led by the senior class, they paved the way for future teams in classes to come.
I think the seniors really bought into the part of this process that's really hard. And when I say that, I mean that to take a program from where our program has been in the last 4 years to where we want it to get to, you have to really enjoy suffering. You have to really believe that walking through difficulty, struggle, loss is going to get you everything that's meaningful on the other side. And I think they bought into that. They kind of ran at that. We talked a lot about just seeing the difficulty ahead of us and running at it rather than running away. We had our ups and downs, and there were moments this year, to me, that were harder than any other year I'd been a part of. I think because we had such highs. We had such high highs, and that makes you susceptible to some low lows. And the way we responded to each end of the spectrum made me so proud. Now you have a team that is so cohesive, so bonded, and so proud of all their shared memories. And so I think that legacy will live on in our younger classes and our teams to come, because we have this identity as a group, and we have this core value as a group that is, I want to work hard, and I want this to be hard because I know that's what's going to make me the best I can be and make this team the best that it can be.